Hi gents, this is Mr. Holding. In this video is just quickly looking at calculating distance and time. So we know we've seen this relationship here in the triangle. We've got speed, distance and time, and the triangle represents how they're related to each other. So the standard equation that we use for calculating speed or velocity equals displacement over time. Okay, so we use that basic equation to solve different calculations, but we can actually make distance or time the subject of the equation, and we use this to simply work it out. So we see here velocity, which is speed, is displacement over time. Okay, and we can use the same principle. We can say time equals displacement, distance over speed or velocity, or we can say that distance equals speed multiplied by time. Okay, and that's very easy. Okay, so when we're looking at it, if you're asked to calculate distance, all right, all we need to do is we go, okay, up here we can have, if we have the speed and the amount of time that we were traveling at that speed, then we can calculate the distance. So distance equals speed multiplied by time, or velocity multiplied by time, and I know that's a bit tricky, but you just got to take time to read the question properly, and then you write in the values that you have. Okay, and you might get this question asked a number of ways. Okay, it said calculate the distance for, that would be the easy one, but quite often we can get confused when it says something as simple as how far. How far was it this person traveling at this speed for this amount of time? And we don't see the word distance or displacement, and so we get a little bit confused. So it's important to read the question carefully and first of all answer, what is this question actually asking me? Okay, and so as an example here, I've got a question: how far does a car traveling at 60 kilometers per hour get in 2 hours? So first of all, what does, sorry about that, what is the question asking of us? So the question is asking how far, in other words, what is the distance? So we want to know distance equals question mark. Okay, and it doesn't tell us units, so we just use the most appropriate units. Now, in order to work out distance, we can use this equation up here, which means we can use what's been given. Now, we've been given the speed or velocity, which is 60 kilometers per hour, and we've been given the time, which equals 2 hours. So if I can put these into my equation, and I can solve it. So D equals ST, which equals 60 kilometers per hour times 2 hours. 60 times 2 is 120 kilometers. Cancel that, cancel that. Okay, so I've travelled in 2 hours at 60 kilometers an hour, I've travelled 120 kilometers. Now, you'll notice I've written it in units. The fact that we've got kilometers per hour and hours, I'm driving in a car, it makes sense to answer in kilometers. All right, and now the same thing is going to go for time. All right, so if I want to calculate time, okay, I want to look over here and go time is down the bottom, and I've got distance and speed. So time is going to equal distance divided by speed. Okay, so time equals distance divided by speed. So I've got my equation there, so time equals distance over speed. So I can put that in. If I've got a question, how long? So when it says something like that, it says what time, it's asking for time. So I know that my time is my unknown variable. Does it take a car traveling at 100 kilometers an hour? So there's my speed, 100 kilometers per hour, to travel a distance of 300 kilometers. So distance equals 300 kilometers. Now remember, quite often the most difficult part is identifying our variables. So if you can do that at the start, it makes it very easy. So I know my time equals D over S, which equals 300 kilometers divided by 100 kilometers per hour. 300 divided by 100 equals 3. Okay, so it's going to take me 3 hours to do that. Okay, so calculating distance and time can be quite easy. It's just a matter of rearranging this basic equation. Now I know that says V, it could be S depending on what it is. Okay, essentially speed equals distance over time, velocity is distance over time, however you want to put it, whether you're using displacement or distance, the same idea, and you can work out how to find out the displacement of the distance or the time depending on what you're after. Okay, main thing, read the questions carefully. All right, hope you found this helpful.